Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on the thrill or the drama of the narcissist. Drama and the narcissist. What does this really mean for people who are involved in a relationship with these types of individuals? These individuals who really have personality traits that you might have excused and justified. You might have said, oh, that is just them. They are just very dramatic. That is their personality. That's how they shine. They are a star. They are this way. That's what makes them who they are. Just let them be. The dramatic narcissist oftentimes is surrounded by people who make a lot of excuses and justifications and do not want or are unable to see the harm that is created or the damage, the hurt that is really created in the lives of others because of the quote-unquote dramatic narcissist, the erratic and dramatic. So that might even have like positive tinges. Drama. They are so elegant, or they're so charismatic. So it might be sort of infiltrated or stirred in with a lot of these positive qualities that are attached to these individuals because they are so dramatic. They're having a great day. This is who they are. They just are the center of attention. They just like to have it all. They are very driven. They're high achievers. Nothing gets in their way. They are just, back in the day, it used to be they are overachievers. So you would kind of explain and justify, and these people, you felt that they would get away with things. Things happen so easily to them. They skirt up the corporate ladder very quickly. They're able to get in very quickly into relationships, special hotels, special relationships with high status people, and they get all sort of cash and prizes. In other words, there's all this sort of drama and reward, which can become very addictive and seem like the only way to live. The fairy book fantasy bond, the fantasy bond in the narcissist relationship or the psychopath, where they are really sort of trying to call all the shots, run the show, especially as the seesaw tips in their direction for everything to sort of go in their favor. They like to have sort of the emotional gravity in the relationships. This then feels like a leeching or a taking away or a removing of your personal power, your ability to be present. I am. Have a make a sound, make a laugh, make a face. The dramatic wants to always create the lighting. They want to create the coloring. They want to create the vibe. They want to be in control of it all. So if you can imagine that, if you can just step back and not take this personally, just realize that this is who they are. So if you feel pushed out by their drama, unaccepted, even rejected, even belittled, criticized, told, you don't fit the part, try again tomorrow. You might have received especially a lot of messages of rejection, but hang in there. Keep on vying for my approval, my attention, my smile, my eye contact, my hug, whatever it is outside of the drama that is quote unquote the real, that is of true value for you, but then is oftentimes swept away as irrelevant, unvalued, or not important. So it is not validated or just sort of materialized. It doesn't come into being. So people oftentimes then feel that they have this part of themselves that has been ignored and denied. And then they must continue to rehearse and rememorize and continue to sort of take that message and that treatment and then internalize it and then sort of do unto themselves. So they're doing unto themselves what has been done unto them, and then they're sort of silencing themselves. You feel disempowered, which means you're not in your full, not authenticity, purpose, presence, just who you are. But you really become familiar and really become deeply close to what this means for you. So it might take some time to really figure out where that basis is, that full power, when you're really dealing with the dramatic narcissist, where it seems like everything can only go one way. It is very one-sided. And that drama might mean for you that you are, quote unquote, not dramatic. You are not unstable. You are not just sort of that way, but they will require people to be on the same wavelength, to have an energetic match. So people get swept up or caught up in this energetic fight, the combativeness, the argumentativeness. They get sort of rehearse and rememorize, and they get swept in, and it does not pull out the best part of them. But they feel that this is required to, quote unquote, stand up to the narcissist. But this is a problem, because you should not have to be standing up to, you should be standing up for. So it's a very different sort of standing up. So people really become finding themselves on shaky ground, not on their own feet, not able to have traction, not able to just sort of have a healthy relationship. Things get abnormal very quickly, but they're not able to really see the forest for the trees. They have, some of these, part of the dramatic might have been, you get the dramatic hug, you get the dramatic kiss, you get the dramatic, and so you might have had this incentive that keeps you there. The narcissist is very good at keeping their little jar of rewards ready for you and ready to hand out when they deem fit. But they do not, allow you to be able to self-regulate, self-reward, self-validate, and sort of be in that present, because their drama has to run everything. And if something is perceived by them as sort of interfering or making them look good, so, part of the problem and the paradox with the narcissist is they always seem to be, quote unquote, the one who, and just notice this if you can understand your undergirding feelings, the one who has it going on. That's the drama usually that they want to radiate, that they want to promote, that they want to control. So even though this is far from the truth, they want you to believe and act as if. So it's kind of like the narcissist will want you to sort of ride on their emotional tail, the tails of a jacket, riding on their tail, but they don't allow you any agency or ability to have traction of your own, which known in psychology as agency is your ability to have autonomous, know what you want, know your needs, not have a problem with it, not having all this self-initiated, and then what becomes basically you're just doing what you were taught by the narcissist, which is to deny yourself, deny your true feelings, deny speaking up, and then to agree to play along with their drama, which means to agree to rejection of yourself, or agree to the negative mirroring, what they call it, negative validation. The belittling, you're too loud, you're too tall, you're too whatever. Your footsteps are too soft, your footsteps are too loud. You are this, you are that. Do you see that there's oftentimes a lot of just sort of undercutting to the gut of how that person is, that will sort of take them out and will tend to deflate their own agency. So their own ability to have that inner inspiration, which is like inspire, to have that spirit in. So you have to, have that. That's your breath. That's your direction, so that your body is moving in alignment with your breath. You don't have, it creates a very anxious and avoidant person when you're around this sort of drama, because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's going to happen in the next scene. You don't know if your part is going to be cut. You don't know if your part has to be totally different than who you are last time. But either way, you can guarantee it that the role that the dramatic narcissist will write for you is that you are no good. You are not good enough, that there's something wrong or flawed, basically that you are inferior to, that you don't deserve, you are not included, you are not part of the spotlight. So they're very much wanting to direct it like a lighthouse. And instead of just being like, this is ground, they're like, this is me, and that's all there is. So you will really begin to feel this on very many levels. And I call this your emotional real estate, where basically you begin to just abandon property. You dissociate from self. You vacate the premises, i.e. your body. You might have sort of an out-of-body experience. People have a lot of dissociative problems. This isn't really happening to me. They live in that fight or flight, where they're just almost like the wind is out of their sails and they are just stuck flapping in the wind. They cannot harness that, that spirit. They cannot harness their I am. They cannot harness that inner motivation and that intrinsic motivation and reward. They are not permitted to be on that full throttle. The narcissist, part of their drama is to shut down your motor. In other words, that wave that's waving over there, that other sail, it's waving too big. You're waving your flag too big. What about my flag? So the narcissist is always about waving their flag. Look at me. And if anything is perceived by them to detract or deter from that scenario, that story that they, have written in their head, it could be, a 2-pound novel that they already, 647 pages that they're cycling, and they're, no, your part does not involve this. And you're like, but my part does, but not according to their story. So there's nothing inherently wrong with you that you don't want to have that sort of narcissist gaminess type of lifestyle or relationship, which is based on up and down. Either you're good or you're bad. You're in or you're out. You're okay. They'll try to set your score, the score like the music that you're feeling within. No. You write your own score. You write your own music. You have your own heart, your own drum. I mean, you see, you have that going on. And oftentimes you will hear that very strongly, but that is required to be muffled in the drama of the narcissist. They're like, yep, we're throwing a blanket over you. Here's a big fuzzy blanket. In fact, here's another one. And we're just going to go skipping to my loo, and you're just going to sit under that rug that we have created and sweep, there you go. Ha, ha, he, he. And so part of this can feel very sadistic or S&M, sadomasochistic. In other words, where the narcissist is sort of getting a glee, a joy, a boost out of sort of seeing your suffering, or, seeing you under the bus, as if you just decided to sleep in the garage, with your head sticking out of the bottom of the Scion, like, yeah, here we go, I'm going in the doghouse. Is as if you're just, you've decided to live in a shack, that is not of your making. And oftentimes it is not even as good as a refrigerator box. They want you to be very restricted, very distemperate, and it will create a distemperancy in others, anxious and avoidant. And then they'll point the finger, look, you're sticking up for yourself. What is wrong with you? You are wrong. You are despicable. You are, so do you see all these And then people, of course, oftentimes are very threatened and then believe the narcissist because oftentimes the drama has won them accolades, attention, pictures, whatever it is, and they will write the score and feel as if, in other words, if people will see it, especially in big systems, big family systems, big work systems, communities. Did you see what happened to so and so? When they stuck up for themselves, you don't want that to happen. So people learn very quickly, to not be empowered, and they adopt a passivity as to themselves. They give up. I will no longer, so they lose agency. Basically, they feel disempowered. They can't speak up. They feel embarrassed, ashamed, humiliated, not knowing what to do, sad all the time. I mean, as if they're carrying around a cold dish rag of tears, in their stomach. It just feels very, very, very depressing. And then anxious and avoidant about, how do you go on if you're not in that sort of addictive cycle of the narcissist, because they will perpetrate a very addictive drama. In other words, and then you become sort of addicted to whatever their created reward is. So their reward might be a dinner out with them. Their reward might be a phone call. Their reward might be conversation. Their reward might be a trip. Their reward might be backstage passes. Their reward might be you're in on the next meeting. Their reward might be you get a gift. You get a monetary thing. Narcissists are infamous for trying to control relationships with goods and services, meaning, they want to control, they want to control the food, they want to control the money, they want to control the items, they want to control the physical this, they want to control the value, and they have this even before you showed up on the scene. Just really understand that the drama was already there on the stage, and you just sort of feel like an audience member. It never, you never get to feel that anything is ever about you. And if it is, there is something wrong. You will feel guilt. And then you will feel guilt for then speaking up and then sort of resolving this very painful feeling of being written out of the score for some reason, as if it is, you are not a desirable character, even though you are desirable, So in other words, it creates this real disconnect and what is known in psychology as cognitive dissonance, confusion, and fog, and oftentimes an inability to become decisive, especially in what I call POD thinking, positive, orderly direction thinking, feeling, and becoming. This becomes all of a sudden like a big no-no. Do not go there. Do not smile. Do not laugh. Do not make, do not, have stability. All those things that you sort of are about all of a sudden become a big no-no. You become like a forbidden fruit. Even though you're not, they will label you as such. And then people are confused because how they are treated does not equate to the reality of who they are inside. So they develop this real problematic, what I would call a disconnect and an attachment, what is known in psychology as an attachment disorder, where they become attached to this dramatic and erratic, which can create what is known as a trauma bond, which is then mistaken as love. So you have to be very careful and be willing to have the courage to identify really in all its very many flavors, designs, colors, scents, feelings, especially as it presents in relationships or as you are navigating your decision making and your natural up and down, and make sure those don't become accentuated by a narcissist or a psychopath, because the natural up and down will either become inhibited or accentuated by a narcissist. If you're not able to sort of, have this expression, you will feel shut down. You will feel shut out. You will feel undesired. something is inherently wrong. You'll get negative, dirty looks. You'll get slaps on the face, slugs in the stomach, either physically or emotionally. You'll get yelled at, in very inappropriate tones that will let you know in no uncertain ways that you are, okay. So in other words, what is always communicated by the narcissist is you are not okay. You are rejected, but we still need you. We still want you, but you are rejected. You are abandoned. But, in knowing that to be the case, here you go. Here's a little treat. Here's a little, doggy bone, if you will, with whatever it is that they will try to control. And a lot of people will know very closely if they've been in a relationship with this fiance, with this spouse, with this workplace, or what have you, what the reward is and what is used as a push or pull, if you will. What is used as sort of, get you to move or not move. And so that intrinsic motivation, that agency, is then shut off like a pilot light. Dampen. In other words, your light is growing strong, when you first show up, and they're like, especially as if that light is sort of, directed like a spotlight onto the narcissist. If you can do that and then comply with their rewards, you'll see that there is usually something given that is needed, that then takes the place, which is kind of like one of the first nails in the relationship of your gut, sort of that puts you on a wrong path where you go, oh, that is where it happened. That corner, that moment, that basement, that time that I was hit, that time that I was hung up on by this adult, by this parent, by this, boss, whoever it is, my spouse. So you'll know. And then if that was allowed and buried underneath, realize the body does not forget. The subconscious mind is your subconscious is very, very, very powerful. So it will keep that sort of setup in there and know it and, be there for your day of reckoning when you really do need, when you're saying, okay, I'm ready to be liberated. I do not want this drama. I want my agency. I want to be healthy. I want to live to my potential. And I want to be able to maintain center and focus and balance in order to be able to do that. And if it's like this, okay. If it's like this, okay. But when it starts going like this, you're sort of caught up in the red flags, in the emotional, dramatic pattern of the narcissist and the psychopath, the push or pull, the reward or, hold back the reward. And your intrinsic motivation is shut off like an emotional pilot light. You literally do need to light your fire. You literally do need to light a candle. You do need to get a sense of your own inner flame, that it is there. I mean, you have to get this, especially if you have been rehearsed and rememorized to the point where it is reflected back to you. No, you don't. No, you don't have. No, you can't make. No, you can't. And then all the negative has been sort of thrown on you like an emotional burying of you alive. Realize that you are not buried alive. You are really, during that, you were witness the entire time. That is the amazing and miraculous power of your subconscious. And that is your physical body too. And that is going to be the place that you want to visit for a lot of your maximized healing. Is that subconscious, is to get back to that knowing state where strength and big strength, stronger than the narcissist, bigger than the narcissist, more powerful than the narcissist, was with you all the time. It's sort of like there was that poem once ago that was about footsteps. And it was written by an anonymous, I think. And it said, the essence is like, Lord, how could you abandon me? I look back in my life and there was only one set of footsteps. And it's just like, I needed companionship. Why did you leave me? And then, and the Lord basically says, or basically, which is within yourself, I was there all the time. Those were my footsteps. I was carrying you. In other words, you didn't see your footsteps there because I was carrying you. That inner, it's actually within you. That carried you is within you. And that strength, that humanity, that compassion, that deliverance, that what you might consider the saving grace, the Savior within, the great prince or the great princess or what have you, the Savior. You might feel that you needed to be rescued, but you don't need to feel this all the time in your relationship. This is very, 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 very unhealthy. I mean, it is unhealthy. In today's day and age, where you have all sorts of information about physical health and mental health, why would you work on all your physical health and not work on your mental health? It's my hope that, if there's any stigma about this, that it will be removed. But you have to understand the different camps. What is healthy and what is unhealthy? This drama will create a lot of sort of self-denial. In other words, no, that did not happen. No, you deserve to be hit. No, you deserve to be rejected. So you might have accepted a lot of erroneous lessons, flawed thinking, especially you might have then thought you adapted these as your own in order to survive, almost like a jacket, almost like a shell, almost like a temporary shelter that you had to sort of take on emotionally, like a big sheepskin jacket that you had to sort of weave into. And then realize that a lot of this, you might want to release, let go, shed, no longer carry this around. Excuse me, one moment. We're going back with the Diet Mountain Dew here. So realize, that if it's made you overly anxious or erratic or fearful or not knowing, that if you can make it on your own, you can have a healthy relationship. You need to exit this type of flawed thinking. You need to look at the thinking, the feeling, and the behaviors that has created within you as your repertoire, as your score, sort of as like the music of your life. In other words, are you hearing big thunder? Are you hearing, beautiful balmy winds? Are you hearing laughter and smiles and pats on the back and shakes of the hand and embraces? Or are you being greeted with slaps of the face, punch of the stomach, pull of the hair, mean and dirty looks, either physically or emotionally? If so, realize that, you no longer need to withstand this sort of abuse. Abuse is abuse, is abuse, is abuse, which is abuse, which is abuse. And if you don't want to see yourself or accept that you have been a receiving and then, were part of this, you have to acknowledge and validate that this, you have to have the courage and the resolve to say this was abusive. This is what it required me to do or become. I don't like that. That is not the true me. That is what had to become in order to survive. However, I see now, I know now, and I feel now, even if not 100%, I understand a little bit better about what POD thinking, positive orderly direction thinking, feeling, behaving, and becoming is for me. And that it is okay. And I might feel very hurt for some time, but at least you can be in that junction and begin to process. And that junction, which what I call is like a wimp junction, either you can own it and say, you know what, that was abusive. And they're going to say, no, that wasn't. They're going to deny. They're going to invalidate. They're going to be inconsistent. This is what the drama is, and the drama, the episode never resolves. You have to resolve this within. You have to say, you know what? That is what it is. And they're going to carry on. They're going to continue that way. And that is not attractive or desirable. I don't need to have whatever that extreme is, whatever that drama, whatever all that entails, I do not need to live that lie. Oftentimes, they'll try to create and paint lies onto others, cause others to be fake, fluff them up, act as if. You do not need to be an unwilling participant in your own abuse. You need to be able to put your foot down. Even if it's a little foot, put your foot down and say, I am not a participant in this. I reject. And you just say, I reject. And you have to know what it is. And you might need to come back to this several times. And then also own where you were mistreated. Own what you did not get from the relationship. Even if they think something different. You have to own what you did not get. And then you have to let that be your stability. Let that be your stability instead of your fear, instead of that anxiousness, instead of what causes you to avoidance. Let that known to be your strength. Let that known to be, wow, I discovered what they have been trying to hide all along. And, no longer be a willing participant. And it's okay. You'll have enough drama, thrill, and excitement with just your everyday regular life, but it'll be a little bit more juicy, real, and sustainable. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. And yes, you can hit there's a subscribe button. There's an alerts button where if you want to sort of be alerted for more of these videos, you can do that. And definitely please comment and share your experiences. Have a beautiful day.